Papoose caught slipping again. People are starting to believe Remy was right about Claressa. Hold up, y'all, because Papoose just caught himself slipping in a way that has the entire internet gasping for air, and trust me, there is absolutely no coming back from this one. Are y'all sitting down? Because if you thought the messy divorce saga between him and Remy Ma was finally cooling off, you couldn't be more wrong. The tea isn't just spilling today, it is overflowing, scalding hot, and dripping straight onto the floor. Did Papoose accidentally leak the real truth on a livestream, or did he just confirm what Remy Ma has been dropping hints about all along? Why are long-time fans suddenly doing a complete double-take and questioning if Claressa Shields is getting played like a fiddle in a game she didn't even know she was playing? Is Papoose secretly keeping his options open with his estranged wife while selling the world a picture-perfect fairytale with a younger woman? Look, we have all been watching this wild love triangle unfold, but the latest receipts that just surfaced are so absurd, so calculated, and so downright suspicious that it's got everyone asking, was Remy Ma actually right about Claressa this whole time? We are diving deep into the fake leaks, the outrageous hidden details, and the absolute chaos popping off right now, so do not blink, because this is about to get ridiculously scandalous. This entire situation is spiraling completely out of control, and if you think you've seen the worst of celebrity damage control, think again, because what is happening right now behind the scenes makes everything we've talked about look like child's play. When you step back and really look at the trajectory of Papoose's public career, his entire legacy has been built on this rock-solid narrative of being the ultimate loyal husband, the ultimate street poet, and the guy who always operates with complete integrity. But the moment his long-standing marriage with rap icon Remy Ma officially hit the wall, that perfectly polished armor didn't just crack, it shattered into a million pieces for the entire world to see. Suddenly, the man who spent years giving advice on podcasts about devotion, maturity, and how to hold down a household is getting publicly called out for leaving his personal effects sitting in trash bags at his estranged wife's house for months on end, while he parades around the internet flexing about owning luxury properties. You cannot make this level of delusion up, y'all, because the math is simply not adding up for anybody watching this unfold in real time. If you are truly a high-powered mogul with real estate portfolios scattered across the tri-state area, explain to the class why you cannot hire a simple moving crew to retrieve your own wardrobe from the woman you are supposedly separated from. It leaves a paper trail of bizarre emotional dependency that screams he isn't actually ready to let go, even while he's out here publicly stepping out with undisputed boxing legend Claressa Shields and trying to sell the world on this brand new, idyllic romance. Enter Claressa into this messy, high-stakes psychological battlefield, a woman who built her entire global brand on unmatched athletic discipline, cold-hearted focus, and becoming an absolute titan in the ring, only to find her name dragged down into the gutter of pop culture gossip channels and messy relationship breakdowns. When Claressa and Papoose first went public, appearing courtside at major games and posting jet-setting videos across social media, half the internet was celebrating, but the real ones, the ones who know how this industry operates, smelled a setup from a mile away. People started noticing a dramatic, overnight shift in her behavior, watching an elite athlete who used to post intense training camp clips suddenly pivot into a full-time lifestyle influencer, spending her afternoons filming solo mukbangs in Los Angeles, surrounded by grotesque amounts of high-calorie desserts, exotic fruits, and ice cream, while actively jumping into live streams to pick fights with internet trolls. The contrast could not be more jarring, and fans immediately began raising the alarm, questioning whether Papoose's heavy-handed veteran influence was actively steering a younger, wildly accomplished female champion completely off a path just to soothe his own bruised ego. But the real scandal exploded when the online sleuths over at channels like Punch Drunk Boxing caught Papoose completely tripping over his own words during a live stream about the New York Knicks. When a random fan in the comment section mentioned being 38 years old, Papoose didn't just disagree with him. He arrogantly barked back that 38 was way too young, claiming the man practically still smelled like baby formula. Let that sink into your mind for a second, because that single slip-up exposed the entire hidden power dynamic of his current relationship. If a man approaching 50 genuinely views a 38-year-old fully grown adult as a helpless baby who smells like formula, how on earth does he privately view Claressa Shields, a woman in her early 30s? By his own logic, he doesn't see her as a peer, an equal, or a mature business partner. He views her as a naive child that he can direct, steer, and manipulate however he pleases while pretending to play the wise old mentor figure. The public backlash was instant, ruthless, and overwhelming, with thousands of fans flooding social media to call out his glaring hypocrisies, pulling up past interviews, lyric breakdowns, and old live streams to prove that this isn't just a random slip of the tongue, but a long-standing pattern of calculated control. Meanwhile, behind closed doors, Anonymous leaks from inside their digital production teams claim that Papoose's personal life is an absolute disaster zone, with alleged reports of him burning through absurd amounts of cash on luxury rentals, private security details, and flash sports cars just to maintain a fake image of prosperity while his actual divorce proceedings remain completely stalled in administrative gridlock. Insiders claim he runs his circle like a dictatorship where nobody is allowed to mention Remy Ma's name or bring up the fact that his clothes are still rotting in bags at his old house. Major athletic sponsors attached to Claressa are reportedly launching secret internal probes, terrified that her commercial value is being completely torpedoed by her constant involvement in social media fights and high-calorie food vlogs, alongside a married man whose personal life is crumbling on public platforms. Legal experts are pointing out that Remy Ma's team is likely compiling every single one of these embarrassing live streams and public financial flexes to use as absolute nuclear leverage in court, preparing to audit every bank account, property title, and tax filing Papoose has ever touched to see if his claimed mogul status actually exists or if it's all built on smoke and mirrors. The psychological strain is mounting, the public is turning, and former supporters are openly predicting that Papoose will soon be forced into a total media blackout just to stop his entire reputation from burning to the ground. Claressa stands at a dangerous crossroads where her hard-earned athletic legacy is being held hostage by a romance that looks more like a high-profile distraction every single day, leaving fans desperately waiting to see if she will wake up and reclaim her crown or ride this chaotic train wreck straight off the cliff. The dominoes are actively falling, the receipts are officially validated, and as the tension reaches a fever pitch across the entire culture, it is painfully obvious that accountability is knocking on the door, and there is nowhere left for Papoose to hide. The chaos doesn't just stop at the surface level, because when you tear back the layers of this escalating disaster, the financial, psychological, and legal ramifications start looking like a total nuclear meltdown for everyone involved. While Papoose continues to go live on social media trying to project this calm, unbothered, street-certified guru persona, behind the curtains, alleged leaks from production assistants and former associates paint a terrifying picture of total internal panic. According to anonymous sources within the digital media space, Papoose's team has been scrambling around the clock, issuing takedown notices, attempting to block commentary channels, and desperately trying to scrub comment sections clean of any mention of those infamous packed bags sitting at Remy Ma's crib. But the internet is an unforgiving machine, y'all, and once a receipt is out in the wild, you cannot just click a button and make people forget that an alleged property mogul cannot even retrieve his own sneakers and jackets from his estranged wife. The public reaction has officially crossed over from mild curiosity into absolute outrage, with rap fans and boxing purists uniting in comment sections across every major platform to tear down the illusion. People are openly asking how a man who built his entire reputation on the concept of ultimate loyalty and absolute honor can sit back and allow his private life to look like an episode of a low-budget soap opera. Insiders claim that the atmosphere around his inner circle has become completely toxic, with alleged rules strictly prohibiting anyone on set or in his crew from bringing up Remy Ma, mentioning his legal marital status, or asking simple, straightforward questions about why he hasn't signed off on final settlement documents. The sheer level of deflection happening behind closed doors is mind-boggling, with whistleblowers alleging that high-priced jewelry, rented exotic sports cars for afternoon video shoots, and VIP courtside appearances are all being aggressively weaponized to keep the illusion of wealth and total control alive on Instagram, while his actual personal affairs are completely gridlocked in court. And while Papoose is busy playing damage control, the collateral damage on Claressa Shields' career is reaching a point of total no return. We are talking about an undisputed world champion, a woman who climbed her way to the very top of the combat sports world through blood, sweat, and undeniable grit, now finding herself reduced to the headline topic of gossip blogs and internet roast sessions. Sports commentators and physical conditioning experts are chiming in with scathing reviews of her recent public appearances, zeroing in on those bizarre, highly public food sprees in Los Angeles where she was filmed tackling massive tables loaded with high-calorie fruit desserts, bowls of ice cream, and sweet fillings under the banner of a solo mukbang. For a regular influencer, that's just content. But for an elite, active world champion athlete, critics are calling it a massive red flag that screams her focus, her diet, and her mental discipline have completely walked out the door. The narrative circulating online is that her intense athletic hunger has been replaced by the fluffy, comfortable distractions of lifestyle fame, luxury vacations, and constant social media bickering, all while being guided by a man who seems more interested in using her platform to boost his own fading spotlight than protecting her historic legacy in the ring. Corporate executives and athletic sponsors holding multi-million-dollar endorsement contracts are reportedly watching this ongoing circus with extreme discomfort. Anonymous quotes floating around sports marketing circles suggest that several high-level brand partners have already flagged her recent online behavior, privately questioning whether her alignment with a heavily publicized, highly dramatic love triangle is actively damaging her commercial appeal to mainstream, family-friendly athletic brands. Imagine building a multi-year marketing campaign around the absolute greatest female fighter on the planet, only to have your brand tagged in endless YouTube commentary breakdown videos analyzing whether her older boyfriend views her as a mature champion or a naive child who still smells like baby formula. The sheer embarrassment of that viral moment is already taking a heavy toll, as fans continue to mock Papoose's arrogant live stream rant where he dismissed a 38-year-old man as a mere kid, inadvertently admitting to the world how he privately views anyone in their early 30s. The psychological game being played here is horrifying when you break it down with a clear lens. Psychologists and pop culture analysts creating content around this scandal are pointing out that Papoose's condescending remarks about age reveal a classic pattern of control and superiority. If he genuinely views adults in their late 30s as toddlers, then in his mind, Claressa isn't an equal power partner. She is someone young, malleable, and easily steered into whatever direction fits his personal agenda. Viewers are posting endless sarcastic memes and deep dive video essays warning Claressa that she is being systematically maneuvered into burning her own bridges, isolating herself from her core sports fanbase, and sacrificing her peak career years just to stroke the ego of a man who couldn't even keep his own household together. The tragic part of it all, according to public opinion, is that when someone is deep in the middle of emotional attachment, they are the very last person to realize they're being played, dismissing genuine warnings as simple internet hatred until the entire structure comes crashing down on their head. Meanwhile, over in Remy Ma's camp, the silence is somehow louder than any loudmouth podcast rant could ever be. Remy hasn't had to drop a single diss track or sit down for a messy 3-hour interview because her actions and subtle moves have done all the talking for her. By simply packing up those bags, leaving them sitting near the entrance of her property, and letting month after month pass by without a word, she handed the public the ultimate blueprint to see right through Papoose's front. Every single day those items sit uncollected. It validates everything critics have been saying about his inability to move on. Legal analysts suspect that Remy's legal team is quietly compiling every single public flex, every live stream slip-up, and every piece of financial posturing Papoose makes online, building an ironclad case for asset division and spousal support that could leave him completely exposed in court. If he's out here spending tens of thousands of dollars on lavish trips and luxury rentals to impress a new partner while claiming poverty or complex financial setups in divorce proceedings, forensic accountants will have a field day tearing through his bank statements line by line. The pressure inside this pressure cooker has reached an absolute maximum, and the walls are closing in fast. Industry insiders are openly speculating about how much longer this charade can actually last before someone completely breaks under the strain. Will Papoose be forced to shut down his social media accounts and go into hiding to stop dropping explosive self-sabotaging comments? Will corporate sponsors pull the plug on Claressa's deals, forcing her into a harsh reality check about where her priorities need to be? Or will an unexpected legal filing trigger a domino effect that exposes the absolute truth about his alleged real estate empire and financial standing once and for all? The public is sitting right on the edge of their seats, popcorn in hand, ready for the next layer of this incredible saga to unravel, because the momentum of this scandal has become an unstoppable force of nature, carrying us straight into the final, catastrophic wave of fallout that is guaranteed to leave the entire culture completely speechless. The catastrophic trajectory of this entire situation has now reached a point of absolute no return, where the sheer weight of these exposed contradictions, financial questions, and public embarrassments is forcing a final, explosive reckoning. When you track the domino effect of how we got here, from those infamous, untouched pack bags rotting at Remy Ma's estate to that unbelievable live stream rant where Papoose inadvertently degraded adults in their 30s, it becomes glaringly obvious that the house of cards is coming down, and it is coming down fast. The narrative has completely shifted from a simple celebrity breakup commentary into a high-stakes investigation of public deception, ego-driven manipulation, and the slow-motion collapse of an icon's image. People aren't just watching with curiosity anymore, they are actively demanding accountability, crowding every platform to point out that the emperor has no clothes, and watching as every single attempt at damage control makes the fire burn 10 times hotter. Legal experts examining the potential fallout behind closed doors are pointing out that Papoose's public bravado might just end up being his ultimate undoing in a court of law. When you spend months hopping on live streams boasting about real estate portfolios, claiming ownership of multiple luxury properties, and funding high-end cross-country trips, you are essentially creating a goldmine of evidence for opposing legal counsel. If court-appointed forensic accountants are brought in during formal divorce proceedings with Remy Ma, every single bank statement, property deed, LLC registration, and shell company tied to his name will be put under an intense microscopic lens. Imagine the sheer humiliation if a man who built an entire online persona as a smooth-talking street mogul is forced to admit under oath that his alleged real estate empire is half-baked, heavily leveraged, or filled with rental properties he doesn't actually own. The financial gridlock he finds himself in right now isn't just about dividing up furniture. It's about the terrifying reality that a full financial audit could completely strip away the myth of prosperity he has sold to the hip-hop community for over 2 decades. And while Papoose faces a potential financial and legal nightmare, the collateral damage hitting Claressa Shields is morphing into a tragic masterclass in how to alienate a fan base. The sports world is brutal, unforgiving, and built entirely on performance, discipline, and results. When news broke of her engaging in absurd food sprees, filming solo mukbangs with massive spreads of ice cream and high-calorie desserts, and spending her prime training weeks arguing with random internet trolls on Instagram Live, the boxing community felt a collective wave of disappointment. Prominent athletic figures and fight analysts are openly speaking out, warning that a multi-time Olympic gold medalist and undisputed champion is actively allowing her legendary competitive edge to be duller than ever, all for the sake of lifestyle clout and a relationship with a married man who views her as someone he can steer. The rumors that major corporate sponsors are privately reassessing her endorsement deals are growing louder by the day. Brands do not pay millions of dollars to athletes so they can star in viral gossip video breakdowns about messy love triangles, age gap manipulation, and uncollected trash bags. If these multi-million-dollar athletic brands pull the plug, Claressa won't just lose money. She will lose the commercial momentum that took her an entire lifetime of grueling sacrifice to build. What makes this final phase of the scandal so utterly captivating to the public is the sheer irony of Papoose's own words coming back to haunt him like a ghost. When punch-drunk boxing flagged that exact moment where he called a 38-year-old man a formula-chugging kid, he thought he was just delivering a witty, arrogant flex on a basketball stream. He never imagined that single line would become the central receipt used to unlock his entire internal mindset. The internet did not forget, and it certainly did not forgive. That one comment validated every single theory bloggers had been pitching for months, that Papoose doesn't want an equal, independent partner who challenges him. He wants a younger, highly successful protege whose spotlight he can inhabit, whose brand he can manage, and whose choices he can dictate while pretending to be the wise, seasoned veteran. The public backlash has transformed into a relentless tide of sarcastic video essays, dark memes, and brutal commentary, roasting his condescending tone and pleading with Claressa to open her eyes to the glaring red flags waving right in front of her face. Behind the scenes, the atmosphere inside Papoose's camp is reportedly reminiscent of a total containment zone. Alleged insiders report that his PR team has completely given up trying to spin the age comment or explain why those clothes are still sitting at Remy's house, leaving Papoose to resort to aggressive comment moderation and frantic digital cleanup efforts. But you cannot censor a cultural consensus. The public has already connected the dots between his past business dealings, his subtle shade toward former peers, and his absolute refusal to take accountability for his current personal disaster. Every time he posts a picture flexing a luxury car or sitting courtside, the comment section turns into an absolute battleground, with thousands of viewers asking the exact same uncomfortable questions. When are you getting your bags? Why are you treating 38-year-olds like babies? Why haven't you finalized your split with Remy? The relentless pressure is turning every flex into an embarrassing reminder of his unresolved reality. Meanwhile, the psychological toll on everyone involved is reaching a fever pitch. Analysts breaking down the situation are predicting that an explosive breaking point is practically inevitable at this stage. Either Claressa will finally experience the painful realization that her focus, conditioning, and professional reputation have been dangerously compromised and issue a sudden, quiet exit statement, or Remy Ma will break her strategic silence with a single, devastating move that obliterates what remains of Papoose's public narrative. The silence from Remy's side has been her greatest weapon. By letting Papoose talk himself into corners and trip over his own ego on public streams, she has allowed him to destroy his own credibility without her having to lift a single finger. The patience she has shown while those packed bags sit untouched in her entryway speaks to a woman who knows time is on her side, and that the truth always surfaces when people are given enough rope to hang themselves. As we stand at the absolute peak of this scandal's fallout, the ultimate takeaway is terrifyingly simple. You cannot build a new public fairytale on a foundation of unresolved past debts, public hypocrisy, and calculated narrative control. The dominoes have started falling. The corporate world is watching with a hand on the eject button. The boxing community is mourning the distraction of a legendary talent, and rap fans are witnessing the complete deconstruction of a man who claimed to be the ultimate moral authority of the culture. The receipt trail is long, verified, and impossible to erase. The curtain is pulling back on the Shadow Kingpin routine, revealing a situation so messy, so absurd, and so utterly scandalous that no amount of smooth talking or sports streams will ever be able to fix it. The final blow is coming, accountability is pounding on the door, and as the world watches the final pieces of this saga collapse, one thing is set in stone. The party is officially over, the truth has taken center stage, and the consequences are about to hit with maximum force, and there you have it, y'all. When you lay out all the receipts, look at the untouched bags, listen to the wild live stream comments about age, and watch a world champion athlete get completely sidelined by social media drama, the picture becomes painfully clear. Was Remy Ma actually right about this entire situation from day one? Is Papoose playing a dangerous psychological game? Or is he just a man completely lost in his own hype? Now, I want to hear from you because the internet is officially divided down the middle. Do you think Papoose is intentionally keeping one foot in the door with Remy by leaving his clothes behind? Or is it just pure laziness? What is your honest take on his comments about adults in their 30s smelling like baby formula? Is that a massive red flag for how he secretly views Claressa Shields? And most importantly, do you think Claressa needs to drop the distractions and step away before her boxing legacy is permanently ruined? Drop your thoughts, hot takes, and theories in the comment section right now, because you already know I am reading through every single one of them. If you enjoyed this investigative breakdown and want to stay ahead of the game with the scalding hot